Hello, fellow game enjoyers. I just needed to make a video talking about Tainted Grail Fall of Avalon. Now, this has been blowing up a bit in my YouTube shorts, but particularly TikTok, and it's kind of given me that spark of content creation that I've sort of missed. I'm one of those old farts, unk status, if you will, where I prefer social media in the context of I like to interact with people. If you've seen, I'll pretty much reply to anybody, unless you're, overly negative for no real reason. But Tainted Grail has been sort of this weird sleeper hit. I didn't really know it was coming out. I knew nothing about it. I saw maybe a clip or two on TikTok, and I was like, well, I love grim dark fantasy. I'm a huge Warhammer fan. I love just anything just surreal. There's like H.R. Geiger, Lovecraftian, but like just dark fantasy. That is sort of my jam. And I bought it, like a good little consumer NPC. I bought the supporter edition, which was so worth it because I got a cool little art book. It also comes with the original soundtrack, which absolutely slaps, by the way. If you haven't heard anything from the original soundtrack of Tainted Grail, definitely check it out. I think they have a full video of the playlist with all the songs, and it just goes so hard, just Celtic Germanic tribe, kind of like Halung, if you're familiar with that. But I just want to say, I came off of Oblivion Remastered, and I really enjoy the Elder Scrolls games. I didn't appreciate them as a child, but as an adult, I really, really enjoy those games, and it's definitely my favorite type of RPG. Is kind of this unique niche type of RPG. There's not really anything out there that's quite like Elder Scrolls RPGs. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good adventure RPGs. I like Avowed. I love Baldur's Gate 3, Dragon Age, Knights of the Old Republic, all those like classical RPG types. But Elder Scrolls sort of fits this weird specific type that almost feels like a board game. And I guess the original Fallouts, as well as Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. And this game really encapsulates that same vibe very well, but also bringing a darker tone, which I'm a huge fan of. And I was really surprised hopping into this at how much I've enjoyed it. I spent maybe 22 hours just in the first area. I found all these fun little side quests. I accidentally maybe ruined a couple side quests because I killed some NPCs I didn't really mean to kill, but honestly, it was just so enjoyable running around. And they have this like cooking mechanic. They have alchemy. I loved just running around, picking up flowers, finding cooking ingredients just to do that, but also farming the ethereal cobwebs, which, if you haven't played, sort of this mystical resource that you can use to stave off this sort of malicious magical power that occurs at nighttime, called the Weird, or the Word, however you want to pronounce that. And there's just so much going on that's so cool. And there's many characters that are very likable, and there's many characters that are just absolutely distasteful, and I hate them, but in a good way. You need some characters that you're going to hate as well. You can't just love everybody. I think that would be kind of a boring narrative, narratively speaking, but the little droplets and inklings of lore that they sprinkle everywhere. I knew nothing of Celtic history. I didn't even realize King Arthur is actually a Celtic mythology thing. And I started like delving more into looking at Celtic mythology and King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table, which apparently wasn't a real dude. I did not know that. I thought that was like a historical thing. So it goes to show how much I actually knew. But if you enjoyed Elder Scrolls, if you like that sort of sandbox adventure RPG, I think you'd really like Tainted Grail. There's a few mechanics that really stand out for me specifically. It's the fact that the leveling system kind of is a weird amalgamation of all the different Elder Scrolls leveling paths that we've seen over the years. So you have the Oblivion style, where you're swinging your sword, you use your sword a lot, you level up your sword, but also as you level up, you get the skill points, which you'll throw into an attribute tree, which that's not super like impactful feeling, but over time it really adds up. And then you also have the skill tree, where you can fine tune more stuff. Like if you want to, like me specifically, I'm doing just crit magic and wands, and stuff like that. And I think just having all those little tiny incremental machinations working in the background is just really enjoyable. It feels like, you know, from level 1 to 30, just in the first zone, mind you, it's been really rewarding feeling. And especially in the very beginning of the game, I felt pretty weak. I don't know if that was just like my choice of build or what, but I felt like I didn't do damage. But finally, you know, after you go on some journeys, do a bunch of quests, get the XP, you start to feel a little more stronger, and now I'm feeling pretty powerful. Now, if you haven't seen it yet, I did find a Krokema, which is a giant toad demon type thing that's sort of corrupted by the weird that occurs at night, or the you know, the malicious magical energy. And a crustacean crawls inside its mouth, basically like a parasite, and it actually makes the toad really aggressive. And you know, it's just like a big toad. You don't really think much of it. And I went to go pet it. I figured, you know, it's a big toad. I like toads in real life. I'll go pet the toad. Well, it bit my freaking arm off, and now my character literally is stuck without an arm. I don't know if you can get it back. People on TikTok have told me that it is permanent, which I think is actually really cool, because how often do you actually have like long-lasting impacts from your actions in games? The only real thing I can think of is some mutations from Fallout, or Kenshi. If you like break your leg, you just like have a permanent malformity or disformity from that, which is pretty cool. And it's sort of arisen a lot of like extra challenges, and I'm trying to work around. Maybe I have to redo my build, which is pretty easy. So if you do decide you want to pet the toad and try to go one-armed, totally fine. You can change your build whenever. Of course, you have to regrind the levels, which is a bit of a bummer, but I'm thinking I might go stealth dagger, something fun like that. But there's also, I don't want to spoil too much, but there's a lot of areas where you can find some really cool stuff, like some relics of the Knights of the Round Table, and you can basically be the Knight of the Round Table. I think my favorite one, Sir Lancelot, you can do a little quest after you get Excalibur, and you can do a little mission for him, and you can actually end up just taking all his fancy armor and stuff. It looks so clean. I have to do a two-handed sword build, I think, in the future just for that. So it has some replayability. There's lots of different builds. I'm very excited to check all that out. I just got to the second area, man, and I thought the first area was amazing, right? Again, I spent 20 hours just in the first area. Now, you know, I'm a fully employed unk. I don't have like that much game time. If I could, I would have probably put like, I don't know, 100 hours into this, John. But now that I'm in the second zone, oh my god, dude. There's just so much that goes on. There's some crazy funny stuff, crazy wacky things going on. You have all these different factions, and the world feels very alive, or at least, you know, realistically alive. There's lore reasons for like why people don't like to leave the keeps, or why this faction interacts this way with that faction, which is cool. I like the world building, which actually, funnily enough, I found out I'm a huge board game nerd. I don't know if you can see, but well, there's Warhammer right there. But Tainted Grail actually was a board game first before a video game, which I thought was crazy. I'd never really seen a board game video game adaptation aside from Warhammer, I guess, but like I wouldn't really call Warhammer a board game, but like this is like a legit board game. Super cool minis. I might buy them, and maybe we can do like a stream where I paint the minis eventually. I have so much Warhammer to get through, but anyway, I thought that was cool, you know, a full board game adaptation brought to a video game, and it was done really well, and I'm super sold on it. Another one kind of like that is Trench Crusade, if anyone's heard of that, but definitely give it a try. I just, you know, I don't take this as a full review or anything. I'm tired of seeing people always so negative about every game, nitpicking every little thing. So I figured I'm just gonna make videos for a little bit, you know, sprinkle them in there a little bit, just a little sprinkle there, and try to remind people that it's good to enjoy things. Everyone seems to be so negative these days. So Please enjoy it, and if you are playing the game, let me know what your favorite thing is so far. Do you like it? Are you an Elder Scrolls fan? Did you hate it? I've seen sort of mixed responses. There is some people who really don't like the graphics part of it, but one thing I've learned in my nearly 30 years of life, I've been gaming for pretty much my entire life. Graphics really don't matter. I played some really jank stuff growing up, and you know, PS1, everything's polygons. It really doesn't matter because some of the best games I played have the jankest graphics. So try to get past the graphics bias. I understand like some art styles are not for everyone. Sometimes certain visuals just are sore to the eyes. I get that. That's why I can't play 40K bolt gun. So try to go into more games with an open mind. If you do like it, wonderful. I'll try to check out the board game and maybe do some paints, or at least post some pictures in the community thing. But generally, I do really like interacting with the people. I want to find more people that are into the things that I enjoy. It seems like it's impossible these days. Everyone's just selling shit or something. So let me know if you haven't played the game or have no interest in the game, and for some reason you click this video, tell me what your favorite video game is, and maybe I'll check it out and we can do a little video on that. But other than that, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.